Hello, everyone. Welcome. Yay. I see so many people on the webinar. It makes me so excited. I'm Jess Tomlinson. I can barely catch my breath. Sorry, I'm a little weird right now. It's been a crazy day, and I'm so happy to be here with each and every one of you who first and foremost showed up for your self-care. And that is the main thing that I always encourage my coaching clients, is that literally I say 99.9% of life is showing up. So first and foremost, I honor each and every one of you. I see some of my amazing favorite people are on the webinar. Yeah, just kudos to you guys. Big heart hugs, lots of love for showing up, joining with me tonight to experience the final webinar in the Pleasure Elixir series. See, I'm so excited. I can't even say the Pleasure Elixir. This has been a sensual self-care journey for busy, career-driven women just like you. And I've been having so much fun. Everything from our first webinar, where we were moving from push to pleasure, to our second webinar, which was all about shedding the shoulds. And then tonight, we are talking about my favorite subject and what I've been so fired up about lately, so much so that I included fired up in the name. We are talking about how to fire up your desires so that you can fuel your big, meaningful dream. Yay. So if you haven't already, make sure to check out that chat box on the side of your screen and put in your name and then where you're from, so that everybody can kind of get to know you. One of my favorite things about this webinar jam software is being able to see the comments and see everybody interact with each other. Just so you guys know, I see Kelly already introduced herself. Kelly is a member of my team, so she will be there kind of posting and cheering you on, and then anything kind of that I'm prompting for you to answer, she'll write that in the chat box too, so you can follow along and make sure to participate. Just know that this is a safe place to express yourself and really be heard. You know, you might have had a long day like I did in my corporate job, and now you're here to take an hour and a half just to yourself, where we can dive deep into your self-care, your own desires. So this time is for you. I hope that you really love it. Hey, girl. I see Sweeney saying hello in the chat box. And Rebecca, yay, dude, you're here. Awesome. And just so you guys know, this stupid, crazy chat box, sometimes I can't see everybody's comments until they come down. So sometimes I can see what people say, but I don't know who it is. So Rebecca, I honor you for being awesome. Yay, thank you. Lauren, welcome, Lauren. Shannon Dorn, yay, Shannon. Jackie, hey, Jackie, I'm so glad you made it. Awesome, beautiful people on the webinar tonight. I am so honored to have you ladies here. So, yes, tonight we are talking about how to fire up your desires, most importantly, to fuel your big, meaningful dream. And you might be thinking, what the heck, Jess? My desires, I don't even know really what my desires are. I know there's something lingering. Totally cool. That's what we're going to talk about tonight, is how you can discover those desires and really take a closer look at what might have been pushed down for many years. And I'm going to talk a little bit about why that is, my own experience of pushing down my desires. And this whole pleasure thing, just so you guys know, came out of me. I just recently took I guess it wasn't recently, it was in May or at the end of April. We got back in May, but I took a group of women to Bali. And oh my gosh, Bali, literally, if there's one word that I could take away from Bali, it was pleasure. And it didn't leave my side. So I was back here in Las Vegas just feeling like, oh my God, there's no word that I can think of except for pleasure to describe Bali. And that's because literally the people were beautiful. The island was beautiful. Everything from the food to the ceremonies and the offerings that they place out every day on the street, and the clothing. Oh my God, I kind of went shopping nuts because everything is so colorful. So this sparked this whole conversation about pleasure. And what I started to realize is, like, the more and more I've got in touch with my own pleasure, and the more the women in Bali got in touch with their own pleasure, it was really kind of this elevated, radiant form of self-care that can make a huge difference in your life. So I'm so glad, again, I'll say it, that you're here tonight so we can dig deeper into this conversation. And just so you guys know, the way this call is going to go is I'm going to share a little bit more about me in case you don't know me, so that we can become besties. And after that, I will share 3 different tips. I had to remember how many tips I wrote down. Try to make this quick because I know you guys are busy. But 3 tips that will really help be a launching pad for your own firing up of your desires, so that you can start to explore, what are my big meaningful dreams in this world, and what am I being called to do? And that all starts from your desires. So we're going to go through those 3 tips. And then after that, I'm going to share with you guys an opportunity that some of you are going to want to take advantage of. It's something, like I said, that's been stirring in my heart, this whole like pleasure thing, and why is this so important to us as women? And the 2 things that are really important in my own life are self-care and meaningful success. So we'll talk a little bit more about, like, what is that meaningful success? What is a big meaningful dream? But I really believe, and it gets me super fired up, when people say women can't have it all. Like, it really pisses me off. So this program that I'm going to be sharing with you, this opportunity, is for women who also know that deep in their heart. Maybe they don't feel like they can have it all right now, and that's okay. Life is tough. We're busy. It's hard as a woman. We got a lot of shit going on. But I truly want to support women in doing what I've been able to do, which is have both. And you might be wondering, if you received my email, what the hell is this, like, biggest news of my life that I promised that I'm going to share with you tonight? So don't worry, hang with me until the end, because I'm going to make you wait. I like to, like, delay things and, like, really, like, get people all antsy and, like, chomping at the bit to know what this big news is that I have to share. So I'm so excited to share with you guys, and super nervous. I'm super nervous because, like I said, only my parents really know, and like a few people. But you guys who are here on this webinar are going to be the first to hear my big life-changing, world-shifting, transformational news. I'm still trying to, like, even realize it in my body. So, all right, Hula, yay, Hula is here. So excited you're on the call, Hula. Welcome, everyone. If you haven't introduced yourself, be sure to do so. While you're doing that, let's move on, because I don't want to waste any of your time, and let's get started. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more about me. So hang with me, because I'm going to share my screen real quick. All right, you should be able to see my screen now. So I'm just going to take you through a quick little slideshow about who I am. So hi, I'm Jess. I am a radiant self-care coach. Now, what does that mean? You're probably thinking, self-care, huh? What? Say what? So if you're like me, or like I used to be, you probably think of self-care as traditional me time, right? And me time, don't get me wrong, it's totally cool. I love my mani-pedis. I love sitting on the couch, eating some peanut butter out of a jar in my robe while I'm on my period, watching some Netflix. Totally dig it. But what I'm more interested in helping women with is their deservingness to feel, look, and live radiantly. So I truly believe this at my core, that all of us deserve to feel and look and live radiantly. And this is a photo of me in Bali. I was super gutsy. It's still kind of weird and shocking to see myself in these photos, topless, but that was me living out what I preach, which is through self-care, and by helping women with their self-care, it creates this foundation for you to express yourself wildly and live a radiant life, so that with this self-care foundation in your life, you can use it as a launching pad to go after your bigger, meaningful dreams in the planet. And what I really help my clients do is move from being super stressed out, just burned out, you know, working a grinding job where they're in the hamster wheel of life, and learning how they can still keep that job if that's what brings them pleasure, but how to feel massively less stressed, wildly expressed, and doing it all through creating a life of self-care. You also deserve to travel. You deserve to travel. That is one of my passions. And this life that I've been living of self-care has really led me to feel worthy of that. And so I've been to Peru and France and Italy and Prague, and I need to add Bali to this list. To express yourself. Wildly express yourself. So there is me on the runway, Miss Sweeney, who's on this webinar. She gave me that opportunity in LA to walk down the runway and really bare literally my ass, even though I'd never done anything like that. And it was terrifying and scary, but it has been part of my journey because I really want to live life to the fullest, live this life of radiance. And then there's me on the biggest picture on this screen. I never know if it's on the left or right for you guys. And that's me doing a kind of like a spoken word poetry piece that I performed with like body movements. And that was terrifying too. That was at my event that I hosted here in Las Vegas that was super successful, called Sensory Explosion. And I hosted that event twice. You also deserve, and I believe this 100%, to be sexy. Now, a lot of self-care coaches don't focus on this, right? They focus usually predominantly on wellness, which is a key element of my coaching, but feeling is key, okay? Feeling is king, really, in my coaching. So I want you to feel completely sexy, 100% in your own skin, no matter what your size, your shape, your color, your background, whatever. Like, no matter how big or small your nose is, mine is huge, but just embracing, right, who you really are and feeling sexy. That is very important for me to help women with. And this is me on my first solo vacation in Hawaii as a mermaid. And that was something that was key to me living out this radiant life. I had wanted to really reveal my radiance by being a mermaid. And so I did it. And it was so amazing. It was a really beautiful experience to do that. You also deserve to feel peace. Like I said, I help women feel massively less stressed. I don't believe that we can ever be stress-free. So beware when you hear that term. But what we can do is stress less. And there's a lot of techniques that I help women with in order to find that internal peace, even when the outside world is looking crazy. I can tell you that many, many people have said to me, oh my God, Jess, I just don't know how you do it all. But the reality is, it's kind of funny. The more that I've actually done things that I want to do, living a radiant life, living out my truth, wildly expressing myself, the more that I have actually felt peaceful, even though to the outside world, I'm doing more. There's a key difference there that I help women determine. And you deserve to be loved deeply. This is my amazing man who I met on New Year's Eve this past year. His name is Harnick, and he's just been a beautiful, radiant light in my own life. And I tell my clients this all the time, I know that I would have not attracted this man unless I had been on this radiant self-care path. So you guys, once you start practicing this self-care stuff, you will be amazed. The more that you turn internal and take care of you, the more that things shift. And I know it might seem selfish because we're conditioned as women to believe that taking care of only ourselves is selfish. But the more and more that you focus on you and putting you first, the more that you'll actually have an overflowing cup to attract people like my wonderful man, your own perfect, wonderful man. You cannot steal him. And the more that you're able to just give to those that you love. And you also deserve to transform the world. So this is that big, meaningful dream, right? It's like, what is your bigger purpose on the planet? How do you want to bring out that stirring in your heart, that feeling in your belly of like, I'm here to make a difference. And I know you are, or else you wouldn't be here on this webinar with me today. I know that for a fact. And so this is me on the TEDx Women's stage. I co-organized the event with my best friend here in Las Vegas for the past 3 years. And so that was a dream of mine, to really step on that stage and organize and really put other women on the stage so they can share their big, meaningful dreams with the world. But it wasn't always like this. More like this. Seriously, you know, this sunshine and roses and rainbows that I just showed you, you know, it's not like that all the time, but yes, that is pretty much my life now. It is a beautiful journey. It definitely has its tough times, but the great thing is I've been able to receive my own support so that when I have those big dips, you know, we all go through them, I'm able to crawl out of the hole faster and really get back on the path to feeling amazing, feeling radiant. But in the past, like I was saying, like this picture shows, it was more like this consistently. I was always stressed out, always burned out, always like do, more. I had horrible stomach pains that were debilitating, that left me curled over on my bed, feeling like 1,000 knives were stabbing my stomach. And you know, it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. And I felt like I needed to please everybody else. I couldn't put myself first because, well, that would be selfish. And that's what I always learned, is that, you know, to be a good girl, that you should do for others. And that's it. And that somehow I would be happy doing that. Well, yeah, it was fulfilling. I sat on multiple nonprofit boards and it was great work. And I still believe in doing work like that. But I've noticed the difference when you put yourself first. So this photo shoot was actually hilarious. It was an actual photo shoot where I was featured as one of the top 5 empowered entrepreneurs, I think female entrepreneurs, in Luxury Las Vegas magazine. And so they did this photo shoot with me to basically show that I take women from this crazy, stressful, burned out madness with, you know, crazy growling raccoon face to the picture below, which is massively less stressed. And then, yeah, this was me without the photo shoot. This is a real photo of me in 2009 when I was at my lowest. It was, you know, I'm wearing this I Survived t-shirt, which I think is hilarious because I dug this photo out of nowhere land when I was putting together this presentation. And I had a moment where I looked at myself and I thought, my God, I don't even recognize that person anymore. But this was me during what I call my cosmic bitch slap. You know, some people call it the perfect storm. It truly hurt like a bitch slap. So I call it my cosmic bitch slap, where I had a major surgery. I was still suffering from horrible stomach pains. I had my boyfriend at the time, who I'd been with for 2.5 years, not show up at Christmas at my parents' house, even though he had bought a plane ticket. And I received an email that he wasn't showing up. And then I quit my job, started a new job, moved houses, and then met a new man in my life. It was a lot, you guys. It was a lot all at the same time. And maybe you're thinking, yep, I've definitely had something similar. So just know that I can relate. This self-care path kind of found me. And now I'm so passionate at helping women find their own self-care path so that they can live a life of radiance quicker than what I had to go through, because what I went through was not fun. So that's a little bit about me. And then now here's a photo that's just, gosh, you guys can tell, like, it's completely different. Here's me in Bali, living a radiant life, really like fulfilling my dreams. I can't believe, you know, where I was and where I've come to. It's a journey. I'll just say that. It's a consistent journey, but it's really a passion of mine to help women reach this place of radiance. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen now and go back to the webinar. All right. Hi, guys. So I would love to hear just in the chat box real quick, if you have experienced your own cosmic bitch slap. Have you been in that place? And maybe you're in it now, where there's so many things going on and you don't quite know how to crawl out of the hole, and you're feeling like you have to please everyone else, and you're a yes girl. You don't know how to say no, and you know, there's some desires in your heart, but you're not really sure how to get to them. So just type in the chat box, yes, and let me know that I'm not alone. I know that lots of other women go through this, and I think it'll be really healing to see that we are not alone in this. So just type in yes in the chat box if you've gone through your own cosmic bitch slap. And now, as you're doing that, let's get started. I want to share with you guys these 3 tips for you to fire up your own desires in order to fuel your own big, meaningful dream. And I see Sweeney, meaningful success. Yes, yay, whoop, whoop, hot mama. Sweeney, I love you. Sweeney's amazing. Yeah. All right. So type in your yeses if you've gone through your own cosmic bitch slap. Now let's get started. Let's get on to the good stuff. I really want to give you guys something that you can implement now, the action steps that you can take away and begin firing up your own desires, exploring what this big, meaningful dream is, getting you to a place where you are really beginning to believe that it is possible. It's possible to get out of this place that you're in right now if you are, in fact, in that place. Yes, all of the above, Lauren. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know that I'm not alone. That feels really good. Awesome. And I honor you for sharing that. Thank you for being so vulnerable. All right, so let's get on to, oh, before we start, I forgot. So the pleasure challenge, if you received the pleasure challenge tonight, was to bring something that fires up your own desires to the webinar with you. So not sure if you've done that, but I want to show you my desirable firing up devices. That sounds really super like sexual, like machines or something. All right, so yay, hula, not alone, thank you. Jackie, yay, very cool. So beautiful to see all of you ladies, I honor you. All right, so my things that fire up my desires, I brought a orchid, which by the way, a lot of people don't know this, but my first boyfriend ever was Vietnamese, and he told me that this flower represents the female genitalia. So very feminine flower, kind of looks like pleasure. I brought that. I brought a crystal with me. I do love crystals. This is a smoky citrine that was actually given to me when I led a oneness meditation. I am Btch certified, which is a practice where you can give blessings and it helps raise consciousness levels in people. So just a simple blessing. But somebody gave me this. I thought that was so sweet. Citrine, just so you know, this gem represents abundance and wealth. Good one to have around. Denise, yes. Sweeney, gosh, I think cosmic bitch slap is my normal. I find a real weird high when I'm super busy. I get to achieve multiple goals at a time, but I do long for more travel time and time out for my phone, laptop, etc. Yes, yeah, totally get you, Sweeney. And that's a beautiful thing too about this program that I'm going to share is I don't necessarily believe that being less busy is really the answer. I believe it's being able to find that place where you can take yourself out of the busyness, right? So it doesn't feel so busy. So this program that I'm going to be sharing is called Her Radiance Revealed, and it's integrating self-care and success so that you can have both. You can have it all. All right, so some of my other things to fire up my desires, a dream card. So this mantra is With eyes open wide, I move forward, nurturing my purpose alive. So I created, we're talking about dreams tonight, right? Big, meaningful dreams. Created these cards for the women in Bali, little mantra cards. So I have that tonight. I also have a Ganesha. Ganesha is the Hindu god of like removing obstacles. So he is part man, part elephant. And we all need a little obstacle removal in our life. Yes, yes. I bought this in Bali, all hand carved, kind of cool. So those are just some special things that really fire up my desires. I also have my red wine here that I'm going to take a sip of right now because red wine helps me get into my pleasure. What can I say? All right. I see somebody else said yes with multiple S's. I have, but again, this silly webinar jam software, for some reason, I cannot see your name. So hopefully somebody else puts in a chat and I can acknowledge you. All right. Let's get started. Again, thank you for hanging with me. You're going to want to stay on the entire time. I got some really juicy stuff to share with you. I know you might be thinking like, I should, right? Shed the shoulds. I should go and like do my laundry, or I should prepare for tomorrow, or like I should do the dishes that are out from dinner, or I should do more work. No, I'm telling you, don't do it. Dedicate the rest of this time to you, to us, this community of women that's joined here tonight for some pleasure, some radiant self-care. Sound like a deal? Cool. All right. Sometimes I talk a lot. Sorry. The number one tip that I have for you tonight in order to fire up your desires to fuel your big, meaningful dream, which I call your BMD, is to, and this might be shocking, to bulletproof your health. Okay, so I'm a little bit unorthodox from, you might be thinking like, wait a minute, Jess, we're talking about our dreams. We're talking about our desires. What the hell does health, bulletproofing our health, have to do with these two things? Well, I will tell you that it has everything to do with these two things. So me, my own journey, I've been able to come to a place where through my food choices, through the use of different products, through essential oils, through multiple different things, I've been able to kind of craft this perfect pleasure elixir to bulletproof my own health. I have not been sick, knock on wood, for 3 years. 3 years, literally. I got a little tiny cough this year after I went on vacation with Harnick and his buddies from the UK. Harnick's from the UK. Tiny little cough that, thank goodness, only stayed with me for a few days, but I didn't get to that place where I was actually sick. I still felt good. It was just an annoying cough. So my message to you is, when you have bulletproof health, you are only then able to, number one, think clearly. Because how are you supposed to know what you truly desire if you're not in good health, right? Because when you're sick, what happens? You're down, you're sleeping a lot, you're not energized, you are spending more time trying to get yourself better rather than living your life, living your desires, living out your BMD, okay? Your dreams are dependent upon you having a thriving body that can think clearly and then even begin to wonder and get clarity around, what are my dreams? What is my BMD? What are my desires? When we have a sick body, we're not able to do that, okay? So bulletproofing your health is key. In my own life, it has allowed me to have more energy than I've ever had before. I have been able to go off all medications, none. Like, I don't even take painkillers now. That's how in touch I am with my own body and my own desires. So bulletproofing your health, if this sounds like something that you're like, oh my God, this sounds amazing, like 3 years without being sick, what would that be like, right? Like, how crazy would that be? I will tell you that, you know, my stomach pains, I never knew what that was like. And on top of those stomach pains that I got all the time, I always had a chronic cough that would come at least annually. Every single year I would get like a bronchial infection that led to my doctor putting me on steroids, antibiotics, and Vicodin. 3 things, hello. You know, so if you are like longing to bulletproof your own health, my tip for you is to begin first and foremost with choosing food products that help you detox. Okay, so what do I mean by this? I remember when I discovered that, the pesticides in our food, like literally bogged down our body, bogged down our immune system. I remember like me and my mom used to say like everything in moderation. Oh, it's just bull crap. And the more and more though that I started doing my research on what pesticides are in our food, the more and more that I thought, okay, if there's a bazillion different people out there publishing this research, there's got to be something to this. So what I did, and what I would advise you to do as your first step to bulletproofing your health, is to first and foremost choose products that are pesticide free. So now, if that sounds like crazy to you, what I mean by pesticide free, by the way, is organic. So certified organic fruits and vegetables. Now, this sounds like a lot, but the way that you can start by doing this is by going to this website. Write this down. This is how I got started, and it's simple, okay? It's not a big deal. It's very simple. Go to EWG, which stands for Environmental Working Group. They're a nonprofit. They do all their research on their own. EWG.org, /food news, okay? Food news. Now on this page, you will see what they call the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. And what they mean by this is the Clean 15 are those fruits and vegetables that you can buy non-organic, and they're low in pesticides, okay? The Dirty Dozen are those that you want to buy no matter what, pesticide-free, organic, okay? So I'll give you an example. Clean 15, avocados. Okay, so I nearly buy every single thing. All the produce in my fridge is completely organic, except for avocados, because I know that avocados are very, 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 very low in pesticides, and they're not going to have all of that stuff floating around my body. Dirty Dozen, strawberries. If there is one fruit that you should buy organic, it's strawberries. They're one of the most heavily pesticided fruits or veggies. So start with those. Start with the strawberries. Go to ewg.org /food news and just check out that list, you guys. No pressure. What's the harm? Just go to that page, take a peek. And what I never knew until I started this research is the way that pesticides interact with our body. So basically, imagine putting a toxic fuel in your car. Something that makes it really hard to process. What happens? Your car goes into overdrive. Maybe your engine gets damaged. And then what happens? You have to spend more money to repair that car. So this is the same type of philosophy, only with your body. So by me choosing nearly all organic foods, monitoring the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen, I've been able to, along with lots of other things, but this has been my first step. So I'm encouraging it to be your first step on your path to bulletproof your health. Now, and Kelly, if you could type that if you haven't already, that URL into the chat box, that would be awesome. ewg.org /skin, or not skin deep, sorry. That's another one that you can check out. /food news. Let's see, we got some comments here. Oh yeah, I'm developing a phone anxiety every time my phone rings. I'm guessing that's Sweeney. Yes, somebody needs you. I know all about that. All right, so back to the bulletproofing your health. So I know that this stuff works, right? I'm my own testament to eating clean and really like beginning to cleanse my body so that I can be clear on my desires, be clear on my big meaningful dream, have more energy to do it. It doesn't cloud your thoughts. You have a healthy body. You're not spending all of your time sitting around trying to take care of yourself and catch up with your health. It's just already is. One thing that I like to tell people is your body is your business. Look, I don't care if you are in your own business or you work for a company, regardless, your body is your business. Without your body functioning properly, how are you supposed to experience the pleasures of this earth? And maybe you're going through some health problems right now. And if that's the case, I am so sorry. I know. because I went through those horrible stomach pains. I know the pain that it can cause you. But I'm telling you, if you want to take it a step further, this program, Her Radiance Revealed, that's one of the first topics that we're going to be talking about and that I'm going to be sharing with people, is exactly how I've been able to implement this bulletproof health. And it's through a system of multiple things. So the Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen is just a first step. All right. So if that feels like something that you want to achieve in your life in order to fuel your BMD, just kind of like plant that in your heart, you know, be open to the possibility of receiving support around that. All right, so that is number one, bulletproofing your health. Rebecca, health is wealth for reals. Totally awesome. Okay, so if you have any takeaways from bulletproofing your health, let me know. Like, have you heard of the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15? Are you going to go and check out that website, ewg.org/food news? Let us know. Let us know in this comment box. Hell yeah, like I'm going there. I'm gonna go as soon as I get off this webinar and check that out. Like, let's make a commitment to yourself while you're here in this community. Okay, so number two way to fire up your desires to fuel your big, meaningful dream is discover your deepest desires. So now, what do I mean by that? I get a little emotional when I talk about this because I just have to take a breath. I remember when I had stuffed my desires, my own wants and needs, like, down so far that I didn't even know how to uncover them because I was so busy, you know, pleasing everybody else. And it's not our fault. It's society, media, friends, families, lovers. They have these expectations of us. And what do? We grab onto them and we adopt them as our own self-expectations. And when that happens, we lose sight of what our deepest desires are, and we start living for other people. And this is really painful, you guys. And the sad thing is that I didn't even know that my deepest desires were stuffed down. And maybe you might be at the same place. You might be thinking, Jess, I don't know, like, I work my job, you know, and life is good. That's exactly what I thought too. And so it's kind of tricky. Like, you have to really go a layer beneath and ask yourself, like, wait a minute, am I truly happy? And the way that we can do that is by asking yourself what I call the 3 big questions, okay? And that is, what do I need? What do I want? And what do I desire? Now, this is a way to begin to fire up those desires within your heart and really start, like, rekindling them, because they might have been, like, put out for a long time. But when you ask yourself these 3 things, you'll get a different answer. So they're slightly different. And what happens when you do this is you start to really notice that your desires are down there. And when you start with, what do I need? Kind of the basic primal things. This comes from your head. And what do I want? Going there. This comes from your heart. And then moving down into your belly, that place of, like, this is where all life comes from, right? This is where our desires live. Where do I desire? What do I desire? Like, just feel the difference in asking that question. So I encourage you, ask yourself these questions about your own desires, your own big, meaningful dream. Like, what do you need to feel radiant and be happy and live this beautiful, desire-filled life? What do you want? What do you desire? You know, so go through that cycle. What happens when we do this is that we start to get clear. We start to get clear again on what the hell we want, because we're so busy living for other people that we forget to take time to actually ask ourselves, like, what do we really want? When I started doing this, I have an example actually for you with my own coach. I have my own coach. I wouldn't be able to do this thing in life of helping support other women if I didn't have my own coach for my self-care. So that was a big step that I took this year. what she asked me is like, what do you want to do, Jess? Like, what feels good? Because what she traditionally does is she helps women create coaching programs, which is what we've developed in the second stage of working with her. Her Radiance Revealed is a group and one-on-one coaching program, along with a 3-day weekend retreat that I'll share a little bit more with you ladies about. But what she had asked me in this first phase is like, what do you really want? And I was like, you know what? I want to go to Bali. And so being guided through this process that I taught myself, which is what do you need? What do you want? What do you desire? It was like, I desire to go to Bali. And that would have never come out if I wouldn't have created this life where I have bulletproof health and I'm able to actually like ask myself these kind of questions and get clarity around it, and also receive support from my coach, Christina. So you never know, like when you start to ask yourself these things, you never know what might come out of it. And so it's really important to begin asking yourself these questions. Let me know right now in the chat box, like, let's just say right now, what does your, let's start at the top. What does your head say you need? Like, what do you need right now? Maybe it's you need to go to the bathroom. You need another drink of wine. Like, I need that. Tell me what you need. Let's start there, and let's just start by practicing these questions, because the more that you start implementing them, the easier that it's going to get for the answers to come. And don't be discouraged if they don't come at first. You know, you might need a little bit more support in this question asking, and really digging deeper into your desires and figuring out what your BMD is. And that's where this program is really going to be something for women who are desiring that type of support to gain clarity on like, what is their next big step? Maybe you're in a corporate job and you're thinking, okay, Jess, like I've made success in corporate America. I don't know what's next. Or I'm totally fucking bored in my job. Like, I need to be lit on fire. I need my desires to be fired up. I want to begin exploring this big, meaningful dream. And maybe you feel this hunger. I encourage you to really just like open your heart if receiving support around that might be something that you're desiring. So Phil's is on the call. Awesome. Just finished Eat for Health, Lauren. Very cool. Eat for Health. I'll have to check that out. I've never heard of that book. Nice. Okay, so I need a glass of wine. I need a drink of wine, so bear with me. Okay. Share what you need right now in the chat box. And while you do that, I just want to share how one of the women who went to Bali with me was able to discover her deeper desires by me helping guide her through this questioning process of what did she need, what did she want, and what did she desire. And when we really got to the belly and asked what she truly desired, at first, it wasn't to go to Bali. We had a conversation, which is what I do for my coaching programs. I invite women to come onto a free call, and then we connect, and I get to know you a little bit more, and I help guide you through this beautiful process that's very sacred. And with this woman who came on the retreat with me, you'll meet her soon in a video that I'm going to share with you. Her name's Larissa. She was at that place, we were on our second call together, where she was clear that she didn't want to go to Bali. But once we dug back the layers and once we really found out what she desired, it was that she wanted to go to Bali. She was just afraid. She was so much in the state of fear of like giving too much to herself, right? That she didn't feel like she deserved another trip, because before Bali, before or after, I can't remember which, she was going to go to Hawaii. So she felt like, oh, that's 2 trips. Like I shouldn't, number one, I shouldn't leave my son for that long. Number 2, it's just too much. Like maybe I don't deserve it. But once we peeled back the layer, hello.